What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news and updates, alongside the launch of Act 3 for Heresy. And with the new content launching this week, of course, we'll talk about some of that stuff. Bungie also offer a handful of updates regarding bugs in the game at the moment. That's a surprise. There are some new issues with Court of Blades, progression problems with Heresy for some players, and a few other things worth mentioning. Additionally though, a bunch of new secrets that have dropped in the game as part of Act 3. And on top of that, we now have a date for the next event for Destiny 2, which will bring Rite of the Nine and a couple of other things. So we'll round up all of the news and revelations that we have for today in the video. As always, I hope you guys find this one useful, and if you do, a rating below really does help us on the channel. But now, let's get into it. First quick thing right here, but it is 8 years ago this week since Bungie released the Rally the Troops trailer for Destiny 2, which was actually the worldwide reveal for the game. As we've mentioned before, it's wild that Destiny is now 10 years in, or should we say more than 10 years, and 8 of those years have been inside of Destiny 2, which is certainly pretty mind-blowing, and of course is set against the fact that things are going to change significantly this year with Bungie's new expansion model, and hopefully we'll be getting more details on that soon. Otherwise, quick updates, Bungie Help said issues with purchases of Destiny 2 Silver on the Xbox app for PC not appearing in-game have been resolved, but they do link a thread for players to report further issues if you encounter any, so that will be in the description box below. Something else which kind of dropped alongside Act 3 this week though, and went a little bit under the radar, but Bungie haven't shared this on any of their social channels yet. However, on the Act 3 webpage, we now get a date for Rite of the Nine, which will be starting on May 6th. So a little over a month from now, we'll be getting that update. Of course, Bungie have probably quite a bit more to reveal regarding that. And as we've discussed, it isn't necessarily just Rite of the Nine, but almost a mini Into the Light kind of event in a way. And there could be more to it that Bungie haven't announced yet, but for Rite of the Nine itself, experience a collection of remixed Destiny 2 dungeons with a variety of challenges for both new and veteran players. Victory brings its spoils in the form of new unique rewards to collect, and we know that we'll get these new adept weapons and updated weapons for the dungeons, as well as a handful of other sort of cosmetic items. Also, given that Rite of the Nine will be on a 3-week rotation featuring a dungeon on each of the weeks, that'll take us all the way up to the 20th of May. Also on the Act 3 page, they refer to heavy metal. We don't have a release date for this yet either, but it's Drakes versus Briggs in this titanic PvP clash of epic armored vehicular mayhem. And presumably that will be dropping around the same time, with what Bungie have referred to as a late season refresh. So it's going to be interesting, and I think Bungie will probably go into more details about this very soon. Something else we can anticipate probably happening around the same time is an update on Frontiers and the next expansion for the game. We don't have a release date for it yet, but as we've said before, like when Into the Light was revealed, it was shared as sort of a full package with the final shape and an updated release date for that expansion, and I'd anticipate we're probably going to see something similar this time around after we conclude the Heresy Act 3 story. So fingers crossed we are not too far away now from getting those details. On to Act 3 though, Bungie had said in the patch notes that they fixed a potential soft lock that could appear in the Court of Blades. However, as has been reported by many players, it seems to have created a new, more common soft lock in the Court of Blades, which is certainly pretty frustrating, and players are encountering these soft locks in different places and at different stages of Court of Blades. It's definitely annoying given that loot was supposed to have been buffed this week, and the drop rates for adept weapons, which actually wasn't even in the patch notes at reset. So outside of anecdotal information from drops that players are getting in the game, we actually don't have a 100% confirmation that that update has gone live, which is pretty weird. Separate to that though, Bungie are also tracking an issue where some players haven't received the top 10% Guardian Games emblem. So if that's you, hopefully we'll get more details about it soon. They simply recognize that this is an issue. And there's another one as well, where the Sunless Cell Strike and the new content for Act 3 is actually inaccessible for some players who haven't been able to progress past the Rites of the Deep quest for Heresy. So that's going back to Act 1 and Act 2 content from early on, where some players have actually been locked out of those quests. So if you happen to have been affected by that, Bungie are aware of the issue, and hopefully we will finally get some updates on that soon, as it's a pretty frustrating one. Otherwise, this week, of course, when the Sunless Cell did drop, for those who can play it, which is most people, of course we've got the final intrinsic upgrade for the Barrow Dyad, and this is earned by collecting the osseous fragments that can be found in the Sunless Cell. There are 6 of them in total, and the vast majority of them are kind of in the first half of the strike, so they aren't too difficult to get to, although can be frustrating when playing with randoms, as of course, you can get pulled forward if someone's speed running their way through it, which isn't ideal if you're trying to hunt down hidden things in a certain zone. But I'll link a video down below with all of those locations if you want them. Otherwise, the One for All catalyst for the Barrow Dyad can be earned by completing the Sunless Cell with Barrow Dyad equipped. That will drop the catalyst quest, which then outlines that we need to earn the additional worm spawn, which is the tithing worm spawn that can be found in the hull breach on the Dreadnought. And after that, we simply have to complete the Sunless Cell Strike again with SMGs, auto rifles, and machine guns in every slot. So it isn't too bad to do. The Nether's actually been updated with quite a few new secrets, encounters, and bosses on top of the hull breach, which is a very cool zone with that huge hive sword slammed into the ground. Plus, in the hull breach, there is actually a new tithing chest, which can be opened by completing additional new secrets in the Nether. I haven't personally done those just yet, but with a bit of luck, I'll aim to kind of create one video that goes over all of the updates to the Nether and the Dreadnought, the new quests, secrets, and that kind of stuff, so I'll keep you posted on that front. At the most though, in terms of the continued rollout of the Act 3 story, after this week when we've completed the side quests, looking at the quest steps here, mild spoiler alert, but it would seem we have either 1 or 2 remaining weeks of story, which will lead us to that Heresy conclusion, and I think after that, like I mentioned, it's considerably more likely that Bungie will make some kind of announcement for the next expansion. And I've seen a lot more players talking about that and indicating their desire to get more information about it recently, especially because Heresy is now right at the back end of the content update. So what happens next is kind of moving to the forefront of players' minds, and I totally understand that. As a player in general, it'll be nice to find out what's happening with the expansion this year. Also, as someone who makes content on the game, it would be extremely advantageous to actually know when that's going to drop. I think in general, there are plenty of folks still interested in checking out the next big content drop for Destiny 2, but players want it to fit into their lives, right? Especially given that this is dropping in summer, people tend to have quite a few plans going on holidays, things like that. So it's a bit frustrating not knowing what's happening, but hopefully we will finally get those details soon. For today though, that's what we have to discuss. Right here at the end of the video, I'll play the new Act 3 cutscene that we got immediately at launch yesterday, in case any of you folks have missed it. I won't go into story spoilers right here, as some folks are probably still waiting to jump into the game this week, but if you want to see it again, or perhaps skipped it by accident, we'll run it at the end of the video. Also, if you've enjoyed the video today, a rating really does help us out on the channel, and get subscribed so I can keep you posted with more Destiny 2 content. Otherwise though, cheers for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
I am strife. I am death. I am Zivu Arath, and I am your end. Your false god cowers in her cyst world, scheming to profane a true throne. Defy me. Lift your blade to mine. Let their edges clash and keen and sing. Raise a hymn to the god of war!